I am on a quest to 100% complete all the LEGO Batman games before the Legacy of the Dark Knight releases to answer this simple question: are the LEGO Batman games as good as we remember? I've already 100% completed LEGO Batman the video game, so it's time for the sequel. And wow, what a sequel this is. Unlike last time, I have already 100% completed LEGO Batman 2 in the past on my Xbox 360, meaning I have already unlocked the forbidden character known as Supergirl, but the process to get her this time was a bit more interesting. As usual, I'll be breaking down some of the fundamentals of the game and talking through them. So without further ado, let's begin. LEGO Batman 2 has more of an open world design as opposed to the linear level designs in the previous LEGO Batman game. In the past, hardware limitations were really showing, as I'm sure that they would have loved to do the open world from the beginning. However, now they were able to. LEGO Batman 2 brings with it an open world Gotham before open world Gothams were a thing. And wow, what a glorious open world Gotham this is. An open world with direct inspirations from Batman and Robin, with Greek godlike statues holding up the entire Gotham. Well, not the entire Gotham, but a few sections here and there. LEGO Batman 2, for me, as I'm sure it was for many of you, was the GTA before I was allowed to play GTA. Story remains fairly simple as it is still a kid's game, but as far as superhero stories is concerned, this one nails the charm of the DC universe and the dynamics between the characters really well. The game is also fairly short and doesn't overstay its welcome. It nails the dynamics between Batman and Superman. Much better than a certain movie with Batman and Superman in it. Instead, it is better and closer to a other certain animated movie about Batman and Superman. A movie which I highly recommend. This game came out roughly 6 years after the previous game, meaning that we now have voice actors in the game. Let's go. Who would have thought that having voices in a game would make such a difference, huh? Going from LEGO Batman 1 to LEGO Batman 2 is like night and day. Batman had a major facelift. The cast is full of a star-studded voice acting cast, including Mr. Krabs himself, Clancy Brown, as Lex Luthor, Nolan North, Laura Bailey, and of course, Troy Baker, to name but a few. Each one of these actors and actresses bring about such a unique role and perspective, as well as their A-game to every single character that they voice or portray. And as I mentioned with Batman's facelift, the graphics in this game are a fundamental upgrade from the previous game. The game simply looks tremendous. Even though the world itself is still somewhat very human-like, with little bits of LEGO influences scattered throughout, the game still holds up to this day, and it's not something that takes you out of the immersion. Having Superman in this game is a childhood, scratch that, adulthood dream come true. This game did the dynamic duo of Batman and Robin justice. Not only that, but the insanely awesome, super fantastic duality of Batman and Superman, which is truly something to behold, as mentioned before. I used to love and adore playing as characters like Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, Superman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash, just to name a few. Each character felt, and still does feel, unique and distinct, which is exactly what you want in a game with so many characters. The combat remains standard from previous LEGO games with the added benefit of abilities like heat vision and dope superpowers that are basically just summed up as Superman. If the formula for combat and gameplay isn't broken, don't fix it, that's what I always say. And this LEGO game is still as fun as any other LEGO game out there. Although, I absolutely hated the flying mechanics in this game. They were the first introduction of flight in a LEGO superhero game, and it shows. Flying is just extremely clanky in the open world, and feels way smoother in the levels. The developers over at TT Games must have known this, because they decided to improve and update the flight in future games. So as much as it was a frustration, I'll allow it, because it was a first attempt, and it was a fairly solid first attempt at flight in a video game. While striving to get 100% completion in this game, I realized how sad it actually is that this game, this kid's game, is basically the definitive Justice League game. No DC game to date has ever come close to replicating that feeling of playing as the Justice League in a video game. Why the fudge is this the closest thing that we can get to a good Justice League game? I'm convinced Warner Brothers is just allergic to money at this point. Although back then they did put more money into this game so that we could have improvements like the suits. And the suits, oh wow, what an upgrade. Ladies and gentlemen, they fixed the vacuum suit. Let's go. And the bomber suit is now a power suit, meaning bombs and muscles. everything my ex would have loved. And the vacuum suit is now a hazard suit, meaning you're able to sneak into water and venom like you would into the kitchen late at night while you're trying to grab some snacks and make sure that you don't wake up anybody. My point is that the suits are a massive step forward. It felt like they were much more focused on practicality rather than gimmickiness. Gimmickiness? That word. Each suit now offers 2 unique abilities for them, which really adds to the enjoyment of putting them on and using them. My only slight grievance with the suits is the lack of ability to change them when in free play missions as well as in the open world, unlike in the previous game, which allowed this. I can kind of understand why they did this, because it meant that subsequent playthroughs as well as exploring Gotham to get collectibles was more engaging. And from that point of view, I completely understand, and I think that they succeeded. It just felt slightly annoying having to solve puzzles backwards or not be able to cheese through a mission like I would have hoped without having to stop, go back, and collect the necessary suit somewhere. But all of this somewhat could have been avoided if I decided not to 100% complete the game. In my pursuit to 100% complete the game, you best believe that I had to go through all the collectibles again. Mini kits are back along with red bricks, but now we have gold bricks. Gold bricks can be used to build bridges to alternate dimensions, probably, and allow you to buy cool and well-known characters. There are 250 gold bricks in the game, and a gold brick is awarded per saving civilians, as well as collecting 10 out of 10 mini kits in a certain level. They are the cherry on top of the collectathon game, my friends. As I mentioned, the game is a massive step forward from the previous game, and it deals with very unique themes like individualism versus teamwork. Batman has to learn to work with a team, and this brings about interesting interactions between him, Robin, and Superman. Sometimes there are just some things that you simply cannot do on your own. Teamwork, is very important because it can lead to increased productivity, creativity, efficiency, and a bunch of other words that end in E. My point is, teamwork is usually good because it makes even better things happen, and I learned this through the game. It's good to pause every once in a while and wonder, what would happen if I incorporated somebody else's help into a situation? Sometimes these core values are things that we forget as we get older, and teamwork and cooperation are really important in modern society, as well as in the real world. So I'm glad a game like this can introduce kids to a topic like that, as well as adults like me. The game as a whole really is a love letter to DC, not just Batman and his characters this time. Even though Batman serves as the gateway to all of these awesome characters in the game. The game brings about it classic Lego humor with a touch of a lot of Lego love. All things I hope to see in the newest Lego Batman game, but we will see. If I had to rank this Lego Batman game, I would put it in the A tier class. It was truly fun and enjoyable, although the flying really sucked. Like, I got a bit sick of it towards the end, I'm sorry. In conclusion, Lego Batman 2 is a solid and fundamental step forward in the Lego franchise's games. And it is one of the best Lego games out there. Apart from the clunky flight mechanics, the game still holds up today, and it is a truly special game in the series. I'm not quite sure where I would be today without Lego Batman, and I'm glad I never have to find out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in Lego Batman 3. Peace. Batman 2 brings a meaning that the still feels. Why did it scroll up? It scrolled up by itself. That's creepy. Vacuum suit is now a hazard suit, meaning that you're able to walk in venoms in water, like being able to sneak into the kitchen late at night to grab snacks without anyone walking up while you're doing it. Waking up, damn it.